All right.
All right. Um, Hello, my name is Ratcha, and this is the third episode of Ratcha's podcast. And today I'm talking to Rain 2004.
Hello.
Hello. Um Rain is a furry artist who makes really cool and great artwork that I really like. And basically, I wanted to talk to you about what you do and how did you start and all the kind of stuff about art. And the first question is
hmm
when and how did you start drawing?
Um. See, it's actually rather hazy, but I think I was around I believe 5. It's the earliest memory I can recall when I started drawing. More notably on the walls to my parents' disgust. So I would do it often, like with just anything, crayon, marker, ooh, permanent marker. They hated that, and it got to the point where they just kind of, I want to say they stopped caring,
Didn't
more
they
or
hide
less.
from you?
Um, no, I was actually a little more covert with it. I would do it like probably around nighttime when I would like just draw on the wall next to the bed. It got so expansive that it's got to be a point where it was a mural. It was just a bunch of random shit. I didn't know what I was doing, just doodling away on the wall in my bedroom, and they kind of kept on till they actually started giving me paper to draw on. But that was before I noticed my brother. He actually got me to drawing. I don't think he knows it, but he kind of did. It started when he drew Sonic. Now this is like early mid '90s, so Sonic was a very prominent character
Mm-hmm.
in that time and age. It's probably why I draw the furry crap I do now. But yeah, it started with him. I actually copied what he drew, because as what little brothers would do, they copied their older brothers, and that I don't know. That's probably the most clear thing I remember at that age. It was around, yeah, 6 at that time.
I see. Did you. When did you decide that you want to do it like full time? I assume you're doing it full time, right?
Full time in recent years, or like when I was a kid?
Well, I usually see you streaming for like quite a lot of hours, so I was thinking,
Oh,
yeah.
that. Oh gosh, I didn't start streaming until 6 or so years ago. That's, God, time has flown. That that's only recently when I decided to like go full into drawing. Because before that, throughout uh elementary school, middle school, high school, I did most of my drawing in school. So I wasn't really into it at the time. I didn't realize how really into it I was compared to most of my classmates. So unfortunately, I kind of wish I was more into it. I didn't do a whole lot of studying the craft. I just kind of drew what came to mind,
Mm-hmm.
because as I was drawing in class, either I was ignoring the schoolwork and just drawing to pass the time, or I was just waiting for like the class to end, because like maybe 10 or so minutes after the course is over in like middle school or something, I'll just spend the time drawing, because I wasn't really social in school, as I was often picked on, of course. And as you're quiet, people see you as more of an easier target because you hardly do anything back in return.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very common thing when I was little. So it made me more into drawing in school, as it really helped me ignore the environment around me.
I see. Yeah, that sounds rough.
It's rough, but I don't regret it. I mean, I
Oh
love
yeah.
drawing when I'm not being frustrated, of course.
And when did you find about the fur fandom? I assume you didn't draw like furries Like, you didn't know it were furries when you did draw Sonic.
I didn't know it until I found DeviantArt. I didn't know there was like this community that was actually into that type of thing, like the whole anthropomorphic design or caricatures. DeviantArt was it's I don't know. It's hard to talk about Deviant because I barely spent my time on that site. Although I made an account around what was it 2005. I think that's when I made my account. But this is also the time when the internet, as we currently know it, was starting to become a very common thing in everyone's households too. Oh gosh, I am getting old. Yeah, so the internet was very new, and with that being a thing, so was the at the unknown time to me was the furry community was also new to me. So, ooh, there was this one particular artist on DeviantArt though, by the name of Tails Rules. Something about their work just sparked very key interest into the whole thing. That's what made me more into it. How they made it look appealing. The way that the curves they used, the body type, the face. I think the faces more than ever probably affected my style direction or what I preferred in my character designs, where it was very cartoon slash anime
Mm-hmm.
type of aesthetic. Because that was
Yeah.
also one of the things I kind of grew up on too. I like the franchise called Mega Man. I drew a lot of Mega Man characters, a lot of it. I had this one friend in elementary school where he always asked me to draw this one particular character. I think one of his favorites was it was the octopus in the first Mega Man X title. It was I forgot what his name was,
I
but he
don't
was
remember. I don't even know. I think I've played it like several times. I didn't have it back when I was a kid.
I'll have to look it up at some point. But I think anybody who's listening to this can probably recognize the character I'm talking about. One with the multiple arms, tentacles, you shot missiles underwater. Very cool level. Probably one of my favorites in there. But that was one of our favorites was the octopus Maverick. Uh, and then I had like a Powerpuff Girl phase. I know, right? Weird. But I had designed this original OC. Please don't steal, by the way. He kind of had the face of like Ash Ketchum, but he had like the body of like a Powerpuff Girl, or should I say a Roddy Rough Boy? And he had like this power. He was able to channel this energy with his hands, kind of, Super Saiyan style. It was very cringe. Now that I'm thinking about it, but when you're
Do
12 years old, you ain't thinking about these types of things.
do you still have those old drawings?
No, I don't, which is
Oh,
unfortunate. I still have some stuff from elementary school in a box somewhere. Hoping to get wet. It's in a box somewhere. And I have it stored away. Just gotta find it. But unfortunately, anything that's before the seventh grade, it's all gone. I had a lot of nieces and nephews growing up.
mm,
A lot of my physical stuff as I was growing up is gone because they got a hold of my binders. 'Cause I had a lot more working binders, and they just drew all in it like a coloring book.
uh-huh.
After that happened, my drawing output, as you would expect, has had greatly diminished. That carried on up until high school because a lot of my history had just been wiped clean.
I see.
It's really demoralizing. It wasn't
Yeah.
until I was around 22 that I really start drawing again. Because I out of school, you got nothing else to do. You do that to pass the time. Still, yeah, at that time, I didn't really start studying or getting better until around 24, which is rather late considering I look at all these new artists that's coming out and they look so appealing, so fluid with their line work, very amazing, just amazing work. And they're 16. They're freaking 16. I'm like, oh my god. I'm sitting there drawing like an elementary student in comparison at their age. It's really,
Yeah,
I
no.
wouldn't say it's bad because I mean they have so much information at their disposal with the advent of the internet
Oh
compared to
yeah,
what I had when I was growing up. Because not
exactly.
everybody had internet by the time I was in middle school. Like most kids don't have internet unless they're in school.
Hmm.
Because especially in the U.S. when dial-up was still the majority of the American household. At least I think it was, because we didn't get dial-up until early to mid 2000s, which is crazy considering how far technology has come in such a short amount of time. Oh, I'm going on a tangent here, but
Well, yeah, I can
it's
understand that. It was kind of the same for me because I did draw a lot in school, but then I've dropped it, and it was like 5 years without drawing. And then I've picked it up when I decided to pursue it like as my career path. Did you, like, when you've picked up drawing, study, or did you just started drawing?
just started drawing. Um, the whole thing of studying or life drawing wasn't really a concept to me. Because for a while, I had this thing drilled into me where it's like, when you're basing your work off of other people, consider that cheating, which is stupid thought now to me. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, please use references, people. Please use it. Don't be like me. You get such a huge boost in your work quality just by using other people's work as a reference.
True.
It's invaluable.
All right.
What was it?
Another thing, like, I want to ask is, do you pursue art as a career or is it a hobby for you?
Unfortunately, which I do kind of hate about myself, is my work ethic is more it's more on the hobby side versus a professional side because I'm one of those people that doesn't like to be told what to do,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. I mean, I can handle it when it comes to commissions, but when it comes to an industry position, being told what to do for hours on end for God knows how many years is it's a concept that would likely make me hate drawing
Mm-hmm.
because I know some people they like doing it because they like the whole aspect of creating something in a team environment. I'm not one of those people, unfortunately, because I'm aware of it because I wouldn't perform that well in that environment. I know I wouldn't. I mean, I know me more than anybody else. I would not be very reliable.
Mm-hmm. I
I'll
see.
probably for a little bit, but after a while, my interest would taper off really quickly.
And maybe as a freelance artist? Or maybe like your own projects on Patreon? Because, like, you can do stuff and get paid by people just crowdfunded.
Yeah, that was probably more my alley, very much so. But I haven't grown the confidence to do that type of content creation,
Hmm.
especially a comic rather, where you have to stick with the same idea while also keeping up a quality standard for however long the content is supposed to be made for. Like it's supposed to be a short comic or a long ongoing comic, something comparable to what Kurodot does with his Sexy Evolutions. If you're
Yeah.
familiar with that
Yeah,
comic
actually.
line, um,
But, like, you can approach it kind of like me because I don't try to make it consistent across the whole comic because I know I'm improving, and sometimes I have less time, so I make pages less impressive, and sometimes when I have more time, I make them more detailed and nice. Well, you get the idea. I
Something
think
that doesn't force you to keep a certain look to it.
yeah, because I will get, like you've said about working for professional clients, I will
Hmm.
get really pressured to do it, and it will make me hate drawing. So I don't try to force myself to do it. Like I think that might be like a really good way to start a comic for you, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's more to do with a lot of strain because you can only stay creative for so long
It's
and
true.
keep the quality up. That's what makes working in a professional environment for me quite scary. Because any time where they, they they come back with you with the work and say you did this wrong, or can you change this and change that, and you have to go back to it, stopping what
Yeah,
you're currently doing and going back to that. It's it, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me because once I'm done with it, I don't want to look at anymore. I just want to move on to the next thing.
yeah. I know. I understand that.
But I know that is a very important aspect of the professional field because usually when it comes to concept work, at least
Mhm.
what I've looked up and read into, is that they want you to hash out ideas really quickly, like
Yeah,
really quickly, like to the point where it's not even finished, but they want you to get ideas out there,
yeah,
and you can make like 100 concept pieces, and they'll only maybe pick one or two out of it. So all that work you put in, only 1 to 2% is actually going to be used.
yeah.
And
Well,
that
the concept design is more of like a problem solving task. It's not exactly drawing because most of the times you just use like different techniques like collaging, photo bashing, and it's there's very little drawing there.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been studying concept design, so I don't want to work there too. I hate concept design, but it was really good foundation for understanding how stuff works.
You like form, color.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, shapes, body language, everything. Like it really helps.
I do admire like the people that do live that job. I do admire their perseverance for sticking with it. Cause that's a quality I unfortunately don't have. Gotten way too old now too to really change that. I'm set on my ways now. It's too late. I
Uh,
do try to keep learning though, because I know recently I've been trying to get into the 3D thing. Thought that was a path that's worth taking because of all the applications you can put it in.
I think I've seen it. You were modeling 3D characters, right? In ZBrush.
Yes, that's correct.
Are you doing it to make some sort of a game of it, or just as a
That's
side
something
thing?
I would definitely love to do, but I lack other key things to make that a possible thing. That is programming. I know nothing about it. I can only use programs that kind of does that for you. Say
Mm-hmm.
like a
Yeah.
if and or type of setting. I forgot- It was one particular program that I messed with. You may be more familiar with. You ever heard of this well, let's see, maybe development team called Click Team?
Clip team? I think not.
Yeah, they make something called Multimedia Fusion. It's kind of like a an
No.
application slash game maker.
No, I didn't hear of it.
It's one of those things where the program is kind of done in a how do I put it? I'm not a
You
programmer.
mean like
It's
visual
a name
environment?
for it.
Like of blocks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a block form. Uh, oh no. See, it's something I used to mess with when I was in middle school. Because I mean, considering how since it was easy to understand, I was actually able to get into it without knowing any in-depth programming skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had parameters. You select the parameter, and you tell the program what to do if a certain condition was met.
Mm-hmm.
That type of environment.
Yeah, I see.
That's the only type of programming I do know how to do. And I did make some fan-made Sonic and Mega Man games through it because I was only able to make platforming. But there is methods to make more than just platform. You can make like top-down or isometric gameplay with it.
Did you think
And
of making like a visual novel game?
you can definitely make games like that on there.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's
did you think of doing one?
no, unfortunately.
Because it's like
I
much
would have to
less
team
work
with
than
a.
a comic.
I would definitely have to team with a writer to make something like that.
Hmm.
It's definitely something that can be made. Because I know What's Up has been part of a team that's made a visual novel.
Hmm.
I unfortunately forgot the name of it, but
I'll
he's
have to
definitely done
check it
some
because
work.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, check out What's Up. He does some really amazing work.
All right.
Yeah, it's spelled WATSUP. They do a lot of transformation type of content. So if you're into that, there you
Yeah.
go.
Check what's up. All right. So you mainly do artwork, and
That's
like
correct.
I wanted to talk to you a little about how do you approach every new drawing? Like, what's your mindset and process behind it?
Lots of random chicken scratching until something comes out of it. But the technical way to look at it is I try to get a certain flow in the pose. Because usually whenever I make a pose and it feels very stiff, like it doesn't flow right from one limb to the next,
Mm-hmm.
mostly in the torso, I get frustrated with it and then I have to redraw it. So I try to make sure the form will kind of guide the eye through the pose of the character.
Yeah.
It's not something you really see, but you feel it.
Yeah, I know.
Your eyes just kind of naturally go along the image, and I like doing that.
Did
And
you try? When I was in art school, they've taught us to sketch a character with a single line. Like
mhm.
you draw a character without picking the pencil up from the paper, and it creates like this nice little flow to it because you make it in a single stroke. Did you try that? I think it might be like really
I
cool
think
way
no,
to do it.
I've not tried that. I've read about it, but I've never put it into practice. 'Cause I'm again stuck in my ways. I've done one path for so long; it's hard not to do it. It hurts me. It really does. I know it hurts me. I just I haven't really put much more time into new techniques because I'm already spreading myself thin. I'm trying to do 3D, trying to get better at my rendering skills. The actual craft of sketching in a very hasty fashion. I've
Hmm.
just not dedicated the time into doing it. Because what I've done so far has worked, even if it has limited me in some capacity.
I can get yeah where you come from. And do you like when you draw? How do you get inspiration for a drawing? Like, is inspiration like a huge thing, or you just brute force through it?
A lot of time I brute force it, but that's actually not where my best work comes from. Uh, a lot of the what I feel to be my best work comes from whenever I see something that another artist has done, and it's not particularly tied with anything fur related. It could be some environment art that I've seen that
Hmm.
just spurs a very strong need to want to improve in that field because I know backgrounds are it's one thing that I've had trouble with. There's not a lot of solid ways into doing it. There are so many ways to go about it, and I have not came up with a workflow that works. Well, I won't say. I mean, they work, but not in a way that I feel is efficient.
Hmm.
So whenever I see a new piece of work and you see like the video associated with how they hash out the process, it makes me want to try it.
Hmm.
I feel like that's when I get the most out of it is when I'm actually am trying something new. I feel like that's my best because when I try to repeat it, it doesn't feel as good because I don't have that.
Yeah, the pipeline for it.
Yeah, I don't have the blueprint. I don't have it laid out in front of me how
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
it done. So that's usually a key sign that I need to keep at it with that particular way of doing it. Otherwise, when I no longer have that cheat shit to keep me going, I don't. I'm like a headless chicken, just scratching at the screen, hoping I'm doing it right. But then when I finish it and I go back to it, everything's wrong. Everything is completely wrong, and then I just don't do it anymore. I stop doing it that way. It's awful. It's really awful.
Yeah, I see. Did you did,
So
did you try studying by like YouTube courses, or what's the name, like this huge art school online? I don't remember the
I've
name.
never enrolled in an actual art class. I have gone to Udemy, which is a learning course site. I'm not sure if it's well known. I don't see a lot of ads for it on YouTube. I do get a lot of email for it. Um, Basically, you can go there. You can pay for. I mean, you can call them classes, but they're more courses. It's very. It's determined by the actual people that's putting their content on there. Some teachers on there do have their own sites, which have forums that you can use as another resource to get in contact with them directly, or with other students that's taking the same course as you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
which is really nice because that's how I've gotten to 3D. Actually learned a lot of my 3D knowledge. Well, I've learned a lot of my 3D knowledge through Udemy, but I've never really directly involved myself in the forum community surrounding said platform.
I see.
With
Can you send me the link to it on Discord?
Udemy, okay, give me a sec.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that is quite the lengthy link. Uh,
Let me see. Udemy. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of freelance artists and teachers go to this site and have it up for a certain price, but they do have a lot of sales that happen. That's usually the best time to get a course is when it's on sale. It's usually a huge markdown too, like 70, 60%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll check it too, because I really want to like enroll to some courses to continue like studying, but I didn't really do it because I'm lazy, and there's nothing that is like being advertised to me, so I didn't really search for it too, and like now I know where to go.
yeah, there are
All
a lot
right.
of resources out there now.
Yeah, there's a huge amount of stuff to learn, to study. Like YouTube is huge. When I've just started drawing, I've for almost half a year I've been studying on YouTube, just YouTube videos, and trying to replicate what they do.
That's something I definitely did when I started to get more into drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've drawn more in the last 5 years than I ever have when I was going through middle school and high school and elementary.
Yeah,
I feel I
drawing really
have.
helps. What's the most difficult thing about art for you?
Um, Drawing more, or just like the difficult things for
Well, I
drawing.
mean, like you are an artist, and like what's the most difficult thing about being an artist, about drawing?
Not booting up a game. That is the hardest thing because when your workstation is also your entertainment, it's really hard not to click that icon on your desktop that says Destiny 2 or Final Fantasy 14 because it's right there, it's in your face. It's within 2 clicks. It's hard not to fall to that trap. So it takes a lot of self control to like, no, you don't play that. You're going to draw today. You're going to stream it too, and maybe take a commission. It takes a lot of self-discipline. It can be better, but it takes a certain level of discipline, and that is definitely a thing I struggle with every day. Because I considered it today before you called me, got into contact with me. It took a lot of self-control not to fall into that trap again. I've been good with it so far.
I usually see you streaming a lot, so I guess you don't play all the time. Alright, and like what advice can you give to people who are just starting to draw?
Just draw. I know it sounds very simple, but it usually is just simple. It's just draw. As for where to start the way I didn't, and that is start drawing from life, like just random objects. That will improve your eye to hand coordination really rapidly. Something I need to do more now. I mean, there's never a time where you don't benefit from life drawing because you're always improving. Like I look back at images I've done 2 years ago, and I thought I was good then. Even better now, but that's only a thing that happens if you keep drawing. And even through art blocks, I know it feels crummy to give an art block. It really does. But even through an art block, that's something you can probably make an excuse for doing stuff that you're not used to doing. Because think about it, you're already feeling bad about your work. Why not do something you're already bad at? Because that's something I've only recently started doing. But if you're already bad at it, you start to feel better about trying new things. Because your mind's already there that you're going to do bad. But who knows? You might pick up something that you really like doing, like, say, painting, for instance. That's a very imprecise way of doing art. Because a lot of the times, whenever somebody's painting something, it's not crystal clear what it is. They'll maybe put more detail in the face or more detail in the hands, but everything else around said focus it's kind of got a little blurriness or messiness to it because you don't want to make it too noisy because I've seen some people do it where they overwork the image where everything is crystal clear. Like it'll look nice in certain aspects, say like a sign in the background. That's I mean you can put some limited focus there if it's meaningful to the actual image, but you don't want to overwork it. But art blocks they're a pain. They're a pain to go through. They're definitely a thing.
All right then. Thank you for doing this. It was a real pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right. See you later then.